All right. Greetings, great people. Um, as we discussed previously about those theoretical perspectives in human development, those were the other two theories that we left out for our test, as well as in regards to our theoretical perspectives that we were supposed to look at under that section. But before we jump into that, you find out that we did discuss about the overview of lifespan developmental theories in regards to this, that these theories, they provide a framework for our understanding as we understand human growth, change, and adaptation throughout your adulthood and old age from the perspective of psychological, social, as well as cognitive dimensions. We also looked at Erickson's psychosocial stages of adulthood, and then Erickson got 8 stages, but we were focusing on the three last stages: intimacy versus isolation, generativity and stagnation, as well as integrity and despair, in trying to emphasize more about adulthood and old aging. And then again, we discussed Levinson's seasons of life theory, in which Levinson outlines stages with specific life tasks, for example, adulthood, midlife transitions, and so on. Then we also deliberate on Vailland's adaptation to life models, in which Vailland expanded from Erickson's stages, emphasizing about success or navigating, success of navigation in regards to those tasks, as well as how much they contribute to one's well-being and adulthood. So in regards to that, we also talked about Bautis selective optimization with compensation model. Especially this one, we talked of it previously when we started. So in this one, Bautis explained about selection, optimization, and also compensation, in which compensation comes with adapting strategies to counteract losses, and one is aging. So today, or currently now in this video, we'll be looking into, I might say, three perspectives, but mostly two because the other two are in comparison. Disengagement theory versus activity theory, as well as socio-emotional selective theory. So in regards to disengagement theory versus activity theory, we will just deliberate individually and then we do comparison. Since these two, they counteract each other, so it was worth it for us to look into it in regards to versus. So looking into disengagement theory, uh, looking into disengagement theory actually, which was written by Cumming and Henry, 1961, in regards to their book, which they say Growing Old. And formally, they say this is the very first theories about aging, which is quite critical as well and influences in regards to other theoretical perspectives. So in regards to this one, as you can read or as you have read or researched about disengagement theory, in which it proposes that people and age, they naturally withdraw from social roles and relationships, which leads to, to gradual disengagement from society. That is the perspective in regards to that. That one tends to what? Naturally, sorry, withdraw from that social roles and relationships, but then creates a gradual disintegration from society. But the theory also comes with another perspective in which they say the process is mutually benefiting, that older adults, they adjust to aging, and then the society is preparing for a younger generation to take over such roles. So that is the mutual beneficial part in regards to this theory. That as you grow older, you disengage from all your activities or you disengage from social activities, uh, and then again, the society also is preparing to receive other young generations to take over those roles that old age individuals are also disengaging on. But and looking to that, it also emphasized that withdrawal is inevitable and universal. That one way or the other, you cannot withstand it, but you have to go through it as well at the same time. That again, it's universal, which means, according to the theory, they believe that as you age, it's very universal, or everyone experiences this perspective where you disengage. At the same time, again, it's inevitable for you to not withdraw from social activities. So some of the key principles of disengagement theory is there might be three principles. Aging involves social withdrawal, mutual processes between individual and society, as well as disengagement is inevitable and natural. Looking at the first key principle of disengagement theory, it emphasizes that like aging involves social withdrawal, that one tends to withdraw socially through retirement, reduced social interactions, as well as less community involvement, in which I might read an example that is stated down there that an older adult may choose to retire from their job and limit social interactions, focusing more on personal reflections in regards to that. So, which means it's a voluntary setback from social roles and responsibilities, coming from various perspectives, either psychological, social, and as well as also cognitive dimensions that tend to influence one to disengage. And also, again, the mutual process between individual and society is that disengagement is not just only your personal choice, but also a societal expectations that the society is expecting you to disengage. So the society encourages older individuals to step aside so that younger people come and take leadership roles, work roles due to their physical abilities. At the same time, again, some will be at their peak abilities in terms of physical engagement. A very good example that I might put in regards to mutual process is a company may encourage mandatory retirement to make room for younger employees. For example, you find 65 years of age is put as a retirement age so that it gives room to other younger employees or other adults that are not old adults but in the middle adulthood, as well as also other younger employees. So it's like you create a room up and then there's a shift, so that creating another room down there, as well as people are promoted or are shifting, going to higher offices. Then comes disengagement is inevitable and natural. That the disengagement, you cannot resist it, just like change. So in another sense, it's change that is change that is coming through, and then it happens naturally, as it is being emphasized in the disengagement theory. Is like withdrawal from society is a universal natural part of aging due to experiences of reduced energy, health issues, shifting priorities as well. Some will be starting to become, more focusing on their families, or either putting more strength into their businesses that they do have, as well as also the physical abilities and cognitive abilities, reduced energy, as well as health issues that are following. Another example that I might state is a health declines. An elderly person may stop attending community events they once enjoyed. Uh, a very good example, let's say one usually used to sunrise when they go for parties or when they go to engage in other social activities that they find themselves relaxed into. For example, one might find, let's say, for example, you find yourself I might use partying or after work activities where people might enjoy casual drinks. So some might sunrise due to weekends, but due to also aging, one might not see themselves fit to engage into that. So they might find themselves enjoying such kind of drinks all the time at home or at secluded places, as well as reducing the time that was being experienced previously. And then the fourth one, disengagement also leads to life satisfaction. Cumming and Henry, they also propound that reducing your social involvement, it gives room for older adults to reflect on their lives, accepting aging peacefully. So disengagement is also another way of accepting your natural, what do you say, natural aging or natural processes of life. And then they emphasize that it gives also satisfaction in terms of life. In regards to that, you might find peace and contentment in which you find yourself focusing on family rather than work and social activities. So one tend to want to find their time focusing more on family as well as other activities that are more secluded or surrounding the family situation. Now, looking at relevance of disengagement theory to our developmental psychology in regards to our fields of study that we are in, either social work or psychology, that is like a first formal theory of aging. Now, that is like the first formalized, which comes with provided structured explanation in regards to aging as a developmental stage. since much of the research was more emphasized on the younger age group, but then this one also brought a formal interaction in regards to structured explanations in old aging. And also, again, it influenced earlier studies in regards to retirement, in regards to social withdrawal, and also in regards to elderly well-being, psychological, social, as well as cognitive well-being. So that is now health at large. And also it explains changes in our social roles that due to disengagement, in what you find older adults, they disengage through retirement or reduce social commitments, and then they shift priorities, now focusing on families. So this is very useful in studying mental and emotional adjustments in late adulthood. And also, again, it contributes to policy development. So, like retirement policies, elder care programs. I found in Windhoek North, Windhoek West, actually, I found an elderly care home that is there. And also, again, other support systems that comes in through elderly retirements or in supporting elderly individuals, in which we found the previous president or late Dr. Haig was emphasizing that his wish was to give all the individuals 3,000. This is now the support system so that they can have their finances and also supplement in terms of their diet or some kind of medications that one might need, as well as also influencing elder care programs that a nation might be structuring or looking into. For example, patient plans and also elderly housing programs that might be found, and also building the idea that older adults gradually disengage from work and society. So, which means they cannot fend for themselves regarding to the age as well as what and regarding to the situations that they find themselves in. Some of the criticisms in regards to disengagement theory, first criticism that it assumes withdrawal is universal, which not all elderly people disengage. Some may remain active and socially engaging, depending on also their personalities, depending on also where they are coming from, and also depending on their energy and health plans. Some cultures you find or they expect elders to take leadership roles rather than withdrawing. In regards to that, we always emphasize that elders carry wisdom, so which means that wisdom they have to take leadership roles rather than withdrawing in regards to that, as well as ignores individual differences. For example, like it fails to consider personal preferences of an individual. There are some who still want to engage. There are some who might require to disengage earlier. And also healthy conditions that might push people, and also life circumstances that might also push people in so many areas. An example, many older adults, they might stay employed or volunteer or remain active in social groups. And also it's contradicted by activity theory, in which we found why we are using disengagement theory versus activity theory. So contradiction coming from activity theory, as it says uh, having best from Havighurst 1963, according to my pronunciation, argues that continued social involvement leads to better life satisfaction. You see, continuing in social involvement also improves life satisfaction. That is now also comes to not looking at personal preferences as well. And also studies show that active older adults report higher happiness levels compared to those who withdraw. So engaging in social activities, according to activity theory, that contradicts disengagement theory, emphasize that some they find happiness in regards to doing such activities. Now, looking at activity theory also developed by Robert Havighurst or Havighurst, depending on your pronunciation. That is my pronunciation, 1963, as a direct response to disengagement theory from Cumming and Henry, 1961. So, like this theory also argues that all the adults, they maintain life satisfaction by staying socially active and engage in meaningful activities rather than withdrawing as a natural part of aging. So activity theory also propounded that one continued to participate in work, social, and recreational activities, which leads to their high well-being and self-fulfillment as well. So in regards to this, This perspective also actually it influences modern aging studies in regards to promoting successful aging models that also comes with active lifestyle, or that emphasizing active lifestyle as an older adult, how it will improve your well-being as well as how it will enhance your well-being. So some key principles coming from activity theory, as they are listed, like aging does not require withdrawal, social engagement leads to greater well-being, replacing lost roles is key to successful aging, and mental physical activities prevent decline. So aging does not require withdrawal. Let's look into that. Another example, which is down there, that an 80-year-old are still working part-time or volunteering in their community. So that is meaning aging does not require one to withdraw from activities, unlike disengagement. So this one emphasizes that older adults do not have to step back from society as they're aging, but they should remain reproductive and engaging fully so that as they are getting into their old age. Looking into social engagement leads to greater well-being. Older adults also who are very active or socially connected, apologies for that are socially connected, they report higher levels of life satisfaction, happiness, and self-worth. That is now coming from activity theory. Very good example. A retired teacher mentoring young educators to stay engaged and maintain a sense of purpose. So that is what a retired individual who is an old aging individual. So they are socially engaging, and also it promotes their well-being and very much active. And also replacing lost roles is key to successful aging. That mentorship to younger individuals, it also plays as social engagement as well as also replacing lost roles. Another good example, an accountant who retired joins a book club or community board to maintain intellectual engagement. Whether one retires, but they still remain intellectually engaging or active in regards to that. So one lose work-related roles by retirement, then they find new activities that are fulfilling as well. And also, again, mental and physical activities prevents declining. Very good example. An elderly individual who exercise, learn new skills, stay socially active, maintain better cognitive health. Very good example. Again, to expand the example, it emphasizes that studies they show that remaining physically cognitive active reduces the risk of dementia and other age-related issues. So this is very also important as it was propounded by activity theory that one who is active, exercising, learning new skills, and also socially engaging, they have better cognitive health compared to those who are not engaging. So some of the relevance of activity theory to developmental psychology, it challenges the idea of inevitable decline, as it that aging does not mean decline, but rather one adapts by giving remaining active, contribute to society in a meaningful way. And also it promotes positive aging models. Like it encourages psychologists, caregivers, policymakers to develop programs that support active aging, as well as, for example, senior fitness program, lifelong learning classes, and also social groups that help older adults to stay engaged. You find also influences in regards to healthcare and social policies. World Health Organization, it also recommends active aging strategies to maintain physical and mental well-being. So it really promotes or really engaging in terms of developmental psychology. And also it aligns with other aging theories. For example, selective occupancy, apologies. For example, it supports Bautis selective optimization with compensation model. So this one argues that adults adapt by focusing on important goals, optimizing strength, and compensating for losses. Very good example. A former athlete who switches to coaching as a way to stay active. You were active in sports, and then due to the age, let's say, for example, 35 and above in athletics or soccer, let's say in all sporting activities, yeah, some sport activities, at least from 35 going upwards, you regard it as an older individual. But then as you go and go and go and go, let's say you remain active in soccer or in athletics, but then as you grow older, one switches now to coaching so that they remain useful and active in regards to the sport. Some of the criticism, it does not consider individual preferences. For example, other adults, they prefer quieter life, less active lifestyle. So they prefer pressured by this theory in regards to engaging. Some older adults, they will prefer solitude, reading, and personal reflection rather than joining group activities. Also looking at health and mobility challenges. The theory assumes all adults can remain active, but chronic illness, disabilities, as well as mobility limitations can prevent participation. An example, severe arthritis. One might struggle to stay physically active despite the desire and passion to remain active. Then looking at cultural differences as well in aging. For example, in many Asian societies, elders are revered for wisdom rather than for remaining socially active. So they are seen to be somewhere far so that they share wisdom instead of them to be socially active. So that is now comes to adults are looked as take advisory or spiritual roles rather than find themselves in social and physical activities. So comparison in regards to this disengagement and activity theory, the key idea for disengagement, it emphasizes that aging involves natural withdrawal from society, whereas activity theory argues that staying socially and physically active leads to a better engaging or a better aging as well. And also, again, that is the key idea. Looking also at the view of aging, a disengagement sees aging as passive and inevitable process. But then activity says aging is an active, ongoing process rather than just saying passive and inevitable. Looking at their strength, the disengagement theory, it recognizes the changing needs of aging individuals. Uh, then comes to activity. The strength, it encourages participation, improves well-being, that one has to participate. But then again, disengagement recognizes changing needs of aging individuals. That is, you age, there are changes that follow you. But criticism of disengagement theory, it promotes social isolation, ignoring benefits of engagement as well. Whereas also activity theory, it overlooks physical limitations of aging individuals, as we have discussed previously. Now, so that is the disengagement and activity theory, how it also tries to contribute to developmental psychology. Now, looking at some of the examples from local context that you might find traditional roles for elders in Namibian communities, or let's say in SADC communities and Africa at large, going global Asian communities, that elders often take advisory roles rather than withdrawing from society, which is aligning more with activity theory. But urbanization and aging also comes with its own expectations as younger generations move to cities. So, which means older adults experience social isolation, which reflects aspects of disengagement theory. Now, coming to community engagement, like programs that encourage elder participation, church activities, traditional storytelling, mentoring, they also support activity theory by fostering active aging. So in another sense, they encourage elderly participation. And also implications of aging is that older adults who remain engaging experience better cognitive function, emotional well-being, and social support compared to those who disengage. But then again, there's forced disengagement coming from retirement without meaningful activities can lead to depression, loneliness, as well as reduced life satisfaction. There comes societal family support can help older adults to stay active and maintain a sense of purpose. So this is the implication that these theories also brings in regards to aging or in regards to studying of old age and adulting. Now looking to Socio-Emotional Selective Theory by Laura Carstensen, 1999. This one proposes that as people engage, they prioritize emotional, meaningful relationships over casual or superficial connections. They now focus on more meaningful. So the focus shifts from knowledge seeking and social expansion in youth to emotional regulation and deep connections in later life. For example, I might give, grandparents with their grandchildren as well, where you find grandparents spending more time with their grandchildren or wish to have more time with their grandchildren. So key principles in regards to this one, like emotional fulfillment over social expansion, that older adults, they do prefer close family and lifelong friends over forming new relationships in regards to their age. But then again, it looks at time perspective matters, that people perceive remaining time as limited. So they choose quality over quantity in social interactions. So they focus more on quality time rather than on quantity in terms of individuals that they form relationships with. It also looks into enhanced emotional regulation, that adults or older adults, they avoid conflict and negativity. So they seek positive and rewarding experiences in regards to their relationships. And also looking at social networks, they become smaller but more meaningful, and also intentionally reducing those social circles, keeping only relationships that bring emotional fulfillment in regards to their quality life. Now, looking at their relevance, this theoretical perspective, it gives emphasis on why older adults maintain strong bonds with families and close friends because of social, emotional, selective aspects that follows them, and in regards that they want quality rather than quantity. And also, it highlights those psychological benefits of selective social engagement. For example, reduced distress and greater life satisfaction and emotional stability. But then again, when we look at that, it also suggests that aging is not just about loss, but also about optimizing relationships for well-being. Rather than loss, but optimization of relationships for better well-being in regards to old aging. But then another relevance, it says it applies across cultures and life stages. Very good example is in collective cultures, older adults naturally shift to close family rather than broad social groups. So they find time or quality time with their family or close family rather than broad social groups. A very good example, grandparents prioritizing family, as well as retired professionals focusing on meaningful friendships, seeking workplace friendships, retired adults as they invest in long-standing relationships, as well as avoiding toxic relationships, cutting ties from negative influence, cutting ties uh, from activities that are not promoting well-being. And then they focus on people who bring emotional fulfillment in regards to one's lifestyle. Some of the examples where you find older adults, they find themselves family-centered social networks, as well as they reduce interest in expanding social circles. But rather than focusing on close family, friends, workplace friends, as well as other productive relationships that they were engaging in. And also cultural respect for elders as in collective settings, the wisdom and emotional guidance older adults are found highly valued on, which reinforces social emotional selective theory, in which it emphasizes about meaningful relationships. So some of the implication that it carries for aging is older adults with strong emotional support system, they tend to experience better mental health and lower stress levels. You see, and also again, it emphasized that social withdrawal is not necessarily negative, but rather it reflects on conscious choices to focus on fulfilling relationships, quality over quantity. Remember that. And then also policies and interventions should support intergenerational connections to enhance emotional well-being in aging population, that to find support in intergenerational connections, activities that involve both generations, younger generation, mid-generation, as well as elderly, elderly generations as well, which is very important in regards to the well-being of older adults as well as also well-being of younger generation, since they are also following the same pathway and channel so that they can prepare themselves in regards to what is coming. Some of the criticisms that follows social emotional selective theory is it does not consider personality differences. For example, extroverted seniors may still seek new social experiences despite aging. I'm sure we did experience some of these older generations which are still active emotionally, socially, and also in regards to relationships. And also, health and mobility limitations may affect social choices. A person with dementia may withdraw from social interactions due to memory loss, not due to emotional selectivity. So these elderly individuals, they find reduced social interactions not because of choice, but because of physical and cognitive decline. So they cannot partake or remain competent in regards to that. And also, it assumes a universal shift towards emotional goals. For example, older adults who continue formal education or join intellectual discussion groups. So they are in regards to assuming universal shift towards emotional goals, but you still find others being formally educated or engaging in education, and also joining intellectual discussions or groups or book clubs so that they remain active. So, in regards to research, some people maintain knowledge-seeking behaviors even in old age as well so that they remain emotional active, cognitive active, as well as psychological active in regards to all dimensions and aspects. So these ones, they are knowledge seeking, so they remain seeking knowledge or in advancing and clarifying the knowledge that they do have as well. So in regards to these theories which were left, I hope it helps in clarifying and complementing other theoretical perspective that one tend or that we tend to or which we discussed previously. Uh, Also, another piece of advice, find yourself trying to look for criticisms following each theoretical perspective that we did discuss in our lectures previously, so that you understand the other fault is being complemented by another theoretical perspective. Not one theory can explain anything, but they might explain other things that are not explained by another individual. Or you might find each and every theory got something that is very applicable to old aging that we have seen or that we are staying in our communities with. So in regards to these were the two theories that we were looking into. I will try to make another video that might try to complement chapter 3, just the basics of chapter 3 in regards to physical abilities or physical aging and sexuality, just the basics aspect that might be found in our test. So let's prepare for our test that will be coming on 24th of March, but it will be online around 5:30 p.m. We might give it for 1 hour, 30 minutes, as we might have so many multiple choice questions, as well as short answers, one-word answers, as well as true or false questions as well. So good luck. You have a wonderful weekend. And also, again, happy independence to Namibia. I hope you celebrated and also you reflected upon the concept surrounding independence. You have a wonderful time.